Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic is bound to be made at this point. All sides and all parties, Dana White, UFC, Jon Jones, and Stipe Miocic has pretty much all agreed that this fight is probably the next fight to be made. I think this one will likely be done during International Fight Week, but we'll see what date they actually agree upon. It does seem like that date is most likely, but it's not official at all. But we do have a new UFC Heavyweight Champion, and his name is Jon Jones. Absolutely destroyed Ciryl Gane, looks super impressive there. And we have a Stipe Miocic, who is highly regarded as the GOAT heavyweight, especially in the UFC. Some people argue Fedor, but a lot of people say Stipe Miocic. So we have an early prediction and breakdown for this video. So without further ado, let's get right into this matchup. We have Jon Jones, 26-1, Stipe Miocic, 20-4. Sorry. Let's see if I can get my my previous fights up, but 20-4 Stipe Miocic. Miocic will be 5 years older. He is 40 years old, so he is getting very, very, very much up there in age. Will be 1 inch taller. They are going to be around the same weight. I think Stipe actually might be a little bit heavier. Jon Jones weighed at 250. He said he kind of wanted to move down to 230, so we'll see how that goes. And I believe Stipe said, I think after the fight, he's more than 250. He's like 253, something around there. But Jon Jones will have a 4.5 inch reach advantage, and he will have a 6 inch leg reach advantage in this matchup. So for previous matchups, Jon Jones coming off a very, very impressive win over Ciryl Gane. Finished him really early, 2 minutes. Finished him before Francis Ngannou finished him, and they went to a decision. So he didn't even finish him. He went to a decision. Finished him, starched him, embarrassed all heavyweights on that roster. Let's be real. And that was after coming off a pretty tough matchup against Dominic Reyes. Again, I thought Reyes beat him, but there's a lot of people that would want to argue that. But I thought Reyes beat him. So he looked super impressive in that last matchup from the last time we saw him. Absolutely starched a lot of the biggest heavyweight, the #1 contender in that heavyweight division. Definitely brings up a lot of questions in that heavyweight division after seeing that. But for Stipe Miocic, his last fight was a loss to Francis Ngannou. Got absolutely flatlined in the second round. A very brutal KO. Before that, had 3 fights with Daniel Cormier. Beat him the last 2 times and then lost the first time by KO. And then before then, won a decision against Francis Ngannou. So he's 1-1 with Francis Ngannou. They did want to make that third fight eventually when Stipe came back, but it's been over a year now. And we didn't see Stipe back for a while. So it's good to see Stipe back again. I guess it's been 2 years now. It's been a very long time since we've seen Stipe. And yeah, so for this matchup, I am going to go with Jon Jones without a doubt here. I think Stipe Miocic, there's a big question on his durability. He's a very good fighter, pretty much all-around fighter in the heavyweight division. Good at stuffing takedowns, good on the feet. I think this will be a little bit more of a competitive match early on. I think this will probably be around second and third round before we see Jon Jones get a finish. But I think Jon Jones will probably get a finish around that second and third round by submission. I can see them scrapping on the feet a little bit. Stipe stuffing a couple takedowns because he is going to be the bigger dude. And depending on where Jon Jones is going to be at his weight for his next matchup, where he said he might go a little bit lower. So we'll kind of see how that one goes. But for Jon Jones, I think he's just more technical. I'm starting to think that these heavyweights are just so behind in the UFC here with technical aspects of the game, especially on the ground. Like, especially seeing Ciryl Gane train for grappling and wrestling, and there's just no right moves there. And he's the #1 guy in that division. Did really good against Francis Ngannou too on the ground. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Jon Jones. I think in the first round he gets a little bit even here. I think he goes for a takedown. Stipe stuffs it, and I think he kind of just leg kicks, points him on the feet a little bit in that first round. Maybe does some of that little spinning stuff. Second round, I think we see the same thing again, but I think the difference between that second and third round, I think it just depends if he gets the takedown. I think if he gets the takedown, he's going to move on and use some of that advanced grappling and just end up submitting Stipe is how I see it going. So Jon Jones by second or third round submission. I'm going to preface this a little bit. From what we saw in that fight against Ciryl Gane, the little amount that we saw when he was doing some of those spinning attacks or whatever, didn't really land, but he would punch, miss, and then spin. He was a little slower, so I don't expect him to be super fast on the feet here. But I do think he's going to be able to point Stipe out. I think same Jon Jones, still looked pretty good. I think light heavyweights in general are just way better than heavyweights at this point. I'm convinced now. So I'm going to go Jon Jones by submission in the second or third round. That's a pretty quick prediction here. I don't have really much to say. I do think it is a little bit more competitive than that Cyril Gane fight because, again, Stipe will have decent takedown defense, and I think he stuffs him early, but I think Jon Jones eventually gets him down. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a super quick video. Again, not really much to go over here. I think Jon Jones looked extremely impressive in that last fight, and I think he does it again. And we'll see if he takes more fights after this. He might retire after this fight, but we'll see. Again, a big question of durability for Stipe Miocic. Not saying that Jon Jones will knock him out. He might knock him out. Who knows? But I do think there's a big question of durability. How Stipe will be moving at that age. Some big questions there to be answered. And he is gaining some weight, so he might be a little slower too. So I am going to go with Jon Jones in this matchup. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And let me know who you guys think will win in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time.